This image shows the front cover of a Blu-ray release of Tron, the original classic, and it's a nice example of restrained, concept-driven design rather than loud blockbuster marketing. First, the physical format is unmistakable. The standard blue Blu-ray case frames the image with the Blu-ray disc logo centered at the top. The plastic shows light surface scuffs and dust, suggesting this is a real handled copy rather than a pristine promo image. The background fabric underneath appears red, which subtly contrasts with the cold digital palette of the cover. At the top center sits the Disney logo, small and understated. This is intentional. Disney is presenting the film as a legacy artifact rather than a modern franchise tentpole. The title typography dominates the upper half. Tron is rendered in a metallic chrome blue gradient with sharp geometric letterforms. The typography strongly echoes early computer graphics and vector displays from the late 1970s and early 1980s. Below it, the original classic is set in a thinner futuristic font, reinforcing the idea that this edition is about heritage and historical importance, not reinvention. The central figure is a stylized monochrome blue depiction of a human character in a digital suit, holding a recognizer disc, the iconic identity disc from the film's universe. The figure is semi-transparent and ghostly, almost as if scanned or rendered inside a computer system. This visual treatment mirrors the film's core idea: humans translated into digital form. The pose is defensive yet dynamic. The character is angled slightly sideways, knees bent, arms positioned to either throw or block with the disc. This conveys motion frozen in time rather than explosive action, again matching the film's cerebral tone. Below the figure, the grid floor stretches into the distance. This glowing perspective grid is one of Tron's most famous visual motifs. It represents cyberspace as imagined at the dawn of the digital age: abstract, mathematical, clean, and infinite. The grid fades into darkness, giving a sense of scale and isolation. In the bottom corners, we see rating and branding marks. A PG rating triangle of UK classification appears on the left, alongside a small Irish censor's mark indicating this is a UK-Irish release. On the right is the Disney Blu-ray logo with the phrase "Magic in High Definition," reinforcing this as a catalog restoration rather than a new release. Overall, the design communicates several things very clearly. This is a classic film, not a sequel or reboot. The focus is on concept, atmosphere, and digital mythology, not characters or explosions. The minimalism and cool color palette deliberately reflect early computer culture and the film's pioneering status in CGI and visual effects history. The cover feels calm, austere, and slightly alien, very much in the spirit of Tron itself. This image shows the back cover of the Blu-ray release of Tron, and it's much denser and more informational than the minimalist front. The overall layout is very structured and technical, almost like a spec sheet, which fits the film perfectly. The background uses a cool blue-gray gradient with grid imagery and circuitry motifs, visually extending the digital world hinted at on the front cover. At the very top is a specifications panel laid out in a clean rectangular table. Video, 1080p high definition, 16:9, 2.20:1 aspect ratio. This confirms a widescreen presentation close to the original theatrical framing. Audio, DTS-HD Master Audio 5.1 in English with additional DTS 5.1 tracks in French, Italian, German, and Spanish. Subtitles. A long list including English, standard and for the hearing impaired, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, Finnish, Icelandic, Portuguese, and Dutch. This strongly signals a pan-European release. The runtime is listed as approximately 95 minutes. Dolby and DTS logos are prominently displayed, reinforcing the restoration and sound upgrade angle. Below this, on the left, is a bonus features section in a yellow highlighted box. The extras focus heavily on production history and conceptual development. The Tron phenomenon, phototronology, development of Tron, digital imagery, music, light cycle scene with alternate Carlos music tracks, making of Tron, deleted scenes, Tron and Yori's love scene, design and storyboarding. The emphasis here is archival and educational rather than flashy, clearly aimed at fans interested in how the film was made, not just rewatching it. To the right is a marketing text block written in enthusiastic but respectful language. It frames Tron as an original landmark motion picture, a major inspiration for later generations of digital filmmakers, a cult favorite among fans and critics, a film presented here with state-of-the-art digital restoration and enhanced high-definition sound. The synopsis beneath recounts the core premise. Flynn, Jeff Bridges, a brilliant video game maker, hacks his former employer's system and is digitized into a computer world, becoming part of the game itself. The tone is celebratory and myth-making rather than spoiler-heavy. Running horizontally across the middle is a strip of small still images from the film. Characters in glowing circuit suits. Light cycle imagery. Tron and Yori together. Abstract digital landscapes and geometric forms. These serve as visual reminders of the film's iconic aesthetic rather than narrative beats. The credits block at the bottom confirms key creative contributors. Directed by Steven Lisberger. Music by Wendy Carlos. Songs by Journey. Starring Jeff Bridges, Bruce Boxleitner, David Warner, Cindy Morgan. This reinforces Tron's hybrid identity. Part experimental art film, part early blockbuster, part music-driven spectacle. At the very bottom are rating and legal details. UK and Irish PG ratings with notes about mild violence and language. Standard copyright warnings. Disney branding and Blu-ray disc logos. A visible barcode and catalog number grounding it as a retail object. Overall, the back cover treats Tron almost like a historical artifact. It emphasizes technical specs, restoration quality, and behind-the-scenes material rather than hype. The design feels calm, precise, and slightly clinical, in a good way, mirroring the early computer optimism and curiosity that define the film itself. This image shows the inside of the Blu-ray case for Tron, and it continues the same restrained, almost clinical design philosophy seen on the outer packaging. The case interior is entirely translucent blue plastic. There is no booklet, insert, or artwork on the left side, just a smooth, empty panel. This minimalism feels intentional rather than unfinished. It mirrors the film's digital world. Clean surfaces, no clutter, nothing decorative unless it serves a function. On the right side, the Blu-ray disc is mounted in a standard circular hub. The disc artwork is extremely minimal. A flat cyan blue background dominates the surface. The title, Tron, the Original Classic, appears near the top in metallic silver lettering, echoing the typography of the front cover. The Disney logo is small and unobtrusive, reinforcing that this is a catalog title rather than a modern franchise push. The lower portion of the disc includes classification symbols, a UK PG triangle, an Irish PG octagon. These are printed cleanly and symmetrically, almost like interface icons rather than warning labels. Around the disc's center hub, you can see faint technical markings and manufacturing codes, subtly visible against the blue background. The transparent locking mechanism itself is tinted blue, visually blending with the disc design instead of interrupting it. What stands out most is what's not here. No character art, no screenshots, no text blocks, no liner notes or essays. This absence feels deliberate. The packaging treats Tron less like a conventional movie and more like a digital artifact, a program, a system disk, something you load rather than leaf through. It quietly reinforces the film's themes of abstraction, data, and early computer aesthetics. In short, the interior design is spare, functional, and thematically consistent. It doesn't try to impress with extras or visuals. Instead, it leans into the idea that Tron speaks for itself. Once the disc spins, the system boots and the grid lights up.